Hi Nita, it's Terry Lynn and welcome to my impromptu classroom. I am not teaching right now, so I've improvised. I'm going to do a 10-minute segment from the lesson plan I submitted to you. I'm going to begin at the point just after the warm-up exercise. Alright class, so the words I have projected up here on the board for you, we can go over them. Played, washed, jogged, waited. There are a couple more. Alright, what do you notice about these words? What do they have in common? Yes, Philon. They're all past tense. Very good. Alright, and Adele, what do you notice? Yeah, they all end in ed. Good. They all end in ed and they're all past tense. And these words, they sound different. And not just because played means something different than called or washed. They have different sound at the end. Listen, washed, played. Washed, everyone? Washed, played, played. Good. Right, so first, I am going to play some words on this recording over here. And I want you just to listen. You'll hear two words together, and a little pause. And then two more words, and a little pause. And I want you to think about how the two words you hear together sound a little different. Okay? So here we go. Helped, played. Washed, wanted. Jogged, waited. Helped, called. Called, wanted. Alright, so those are words that are familiar to you, words we've been working with. But listen to the endings of when you have these ed words, there are three different types of endings you will have. You will have an ed sound, ed, jogged, lived. There's an id sound, as in id, hated, wanted. And there's a t sound, as in helped, talked. So when you have these different sounds, there's a reason. When words end in ed and they sound like jogged, lived, there are a lot of different sound combinations, sounds that will go with that. But let's look at id first. Everybody say id. Id. Hated, wanted. These words end in t or a d sound. And when a word ends in a sound before the ed, when a word ends with a hate, want, wait, and you add the ed, it's going to sound like the id sound. Waited, heated. Okay, so we'll put a couple examples. Now, when a word ends in a t sound, like helped or talked, it's because it ends with all these different sounds before you add the ed. So the walk, cook, it's going to sound like a T. Okay? What else is on the list? Washed, watched. Okay? Then all these different letters, sounds, if they end in a G, or a V, or an L. Mailed, played, borrowed. It's an ED sound. So let's add to this list. You've got a list of words on page 25 in your book. So everyone turn to page 25. I'm going to go around the room while you do that and help you. Okay, so what other words can we add to the ed column? Good, good. Mailed, borrowed. All right, what about the id column? Right, listed, landed, okay. Then we have the t column, cooked, washed, watched. All right, so this is, we're going to do some practice with these words too. So before we keep going, let's talk about our SWBOT today, all right? Projecting that on the board, our SWBOT today, you will be able to identify and produce different ED sounds. So how many different sounds will you be producing and identifying? 3. Very good. Okay, so we have our columns here. All right, so the next thing we will do with these exercises, we're going to do some listen and repeat, some choral work. All right, and you guys are a fun class, and I love doing this exercise with you. So we're going to have a good time. All right, so ed, 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 ed. Lived, played, lived, played. He lived, he played, he called. She lived, she played, she called. You mailed, I mailed. Again, lived, played, called. He lived, he played, he called. Id, id. Waited, wanted. He waited, she waited. I wanted, he wanted. Decided, decided. Helped, washed, cooked. I helped. You helped. They washed. She washed. He cooked. We cooked. Lived, played, called. Waited, wanted. Wanted, waited. Helped, washed, cooked. Okay, good. Nicely done. All right, so now we're going to get you guys standing up, everybody. It's fun. It's good for you. Okay, divide the class in half. You stand up over here. This half stand up over here. You're going to line up. And as I peel back this piece of paper from the whiteboard, you will see a bunch of words. All of these words and some more. Words you all know that end in ED. And we're going to do the fly swatter game. You know how that goes. So what I will say the sound t, ed, id, t, ed, id. All right? So you're going to listen to what I say, and you can look at me too if that will help you. And the first one to smack one of the appropriate words gets a point for their team. And you go to the back of the line. And the first team to 7 points will win. Okay. Id. Ed. T. T. Okay. Very good. That was great. You guys did a great job on that. All right. I'm going to have you back at your tables here. You're going to work in pairs with a partner. And you're going to do a close exercise. So I will hand it to you in a moment. Oh, they're up here. It's closes. We're going to fill in the blanks. And you have the words in front of you. You work with a partner to fill it in. Now, this is not a silent exercise. I want to hear you. I want to hear you practicing the words, saying the words, and you can help each other with the endings. And I'm going to go around the room as you do your close exercise. When you've completed that, each pair will stand up and take turns reading your close exercise to the class. Okay? All right. It sounds like you had a good weekend. This close exercise was great. All right. So we're going to do some more practice on id and ed next time in class. And we only have a couple minutes left, so I'm going to give you your homework assignment. And you, for your homework, can listen to a podcast. Your homework assignment is written on the board. A TV show or radio. And write down ED words with the sound endings that you hear. So like we did in the beginning of class, I want you to write on a piece of paper the columns of T, ID, and ED. and write this down. And you need to listen for 30 minutes. You can do 30 minutes at one time. You can do 15 minutes 2 times. However you want to do 30 minutes. And at the bottom, just write down if it was a TV show, a podcast, a movie, or wherever you heard the words and what they were. Okay? All right. Thank you very much, and have a good afternoon.